I counted 5 of you so far. I have Steve, Brandon Harley, Adrian Bush, Van Ingram, and Evan Smith. If I missed somebody, please let me know.
This looks like it. We need 2 more, right, Aaron?
Yes, sir. If anyone that is dialed in with a phone number is a board member, please let me know. The waiting room is cleared. If you want to start, you can. If you want to wait a few more minutes to see if you get a couple more members, it's whatever you'd like to do this morning, Steve.
Let's go ahead and get started instead of making everybody wait and see what happens. And we can, obviously, we don't have a quorum. Thought I sent the minutes out, but maybe not. So let's go down to the DMS update, because I think we can hear that regardless, right, Aaron?
Yes, sir. Oh, we have one more from the board coming in. Kevin's
Good.
coming in.
Sure. So now it's 6.
I'll let you know if anyone else joins. Steve.
Okay. All right. Leslie Hoffman, you're going to give us the Medicaid update?
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of trouble. I'm going to be on my phone. I'm sorry. So the only update I have other than what Leanne normally reports on is just that we have submitted the 1115 extension for approval by CMS, which does include the SUD renewal within it. SUD was actually in its third year of the 5th, but we went ahead per CMS and to align all those dates, we went ahead and submitted it as well. And then also we submitted information about the incarceration waiver again, that or amendment that we plan to continue work on that. The public comment period, I believe, ends tomorrow. It is on our website, and I can have Aaron to send that out if anybody's interested in looking at the public comment period. We're very hopeful that CMS will approve it quickly. There is a possibility, because the incarceration amendment was sent in prior to the renewal, that we might possibly get that approved and or all 3 of those be approved at the same time. So we continue to work with CMS on a monthly basis regarding the incarceration amendment. So just very hopeful that we'll continue forward. I say this all the time. I feel like a broken record. It's been very positive, no negatives about this. They seem to still be willing to work with us and to help us get this approved. So they know, and they are aware that it is included in our renewal. So if you remember, we have to submit the renewal or the request for the extension 1 year prior to the end. So it was due on due 9/30. So we've met all those obligations. So that's all I have.
That's the 1115, right?
Yes, that's correct. So it's the big overall arching umbrella that gives us the flexibilities in Kentucky. It used to be called Kentucky 1115 Kentucky Health, and now we're renaming it to Team Kentucky. So
Okay.
it only has very few components in it, very few from the original that was, rescinded from CMS.
And you said the SUD piece is in year 3, but you went ahead and included it, right?
CMS asked us to, because it's
Yeah.
under the umbrella, they
Yeah,
went ahead and asked us to
What
include
SUD piece
SUD.
is that?
And again, officially, because of when the implementation plan was approved and implemented, that they consider it a year 3 rather
Right.
than anything further. So it's actually year 3. So it'll be renewed with the extension so that they can get on the same timeline.
Right, but what SUD piece is that? Because it's not the incarceration piece, right?
Oh, it's the SUD services that we have available in the communities.
That's the 1115, Steve, that allowed us to go from 16 beds to 96.
Yes. Yes.
Allowed us to cover methadone without non-emergency medical transportation. So yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we all understand. Right? So,
Yeah. And then if Leanne is on, I've asked her to give you some updates as well, Steve. Leanne, are you on yet?
yes, she is.
Okay.
You're on mute, Leanne.
Sorry about that. What the update I'm going to give you, I'm putting in the chat so you'll have for notes and documentation. But currently there's 1.67 Medicaid beneficiaries with 20,363 currently incarcerated. I believe the last time we met it was 21,000. So it has gone down. And within our reentry program that we're working on, where we get released in our 2 KSR and let's see, the women's KCIW. Once they're released, the benefits continue to be turned back on within 3 days of release. And that means that their suspension is taken off and their benefits are turned on, and it goes back to the day of release. So we are seeing definitely where we saw in the beginning, it was 60, 90, sometimes 3 years before the benefits were turned on. So we are definitely seeing an improvement there.
Does the individual have to do anything for that to happen?
Yes. One of the biggest barriers about that is the individual or their authorized representative has to contact DCBS and say, I am released. So, someone can't do that on their behalf. It has to be the individual or a authorized representative.
Okay, I continue to hear those concerns as well, that people are haven't done that. So I don't know, and I guess, the 3 days is great, but that's still, and I wish there was some other mechanism. Why does the individual have to do that? Just
I can't answer that. That would have to be someone at DCBS.
This is Courtney. I'm not speaking for DCBS. I'm from Aetna, Better Health of Kentucky. But from what I understand, the reason why is because the Department of Corrections isn't talking to the Department of Medicaid Services. So they're not having a conversation about release. And my question is, if they're suspended, then how come it takes 3 days? Why wouldn't it be almost automatic? That's my question. But I think the answer is that these big giant systems don't talk to each other.
Mhm.
So it's hard for DMS to understand when to turn things back on.
Right. And with the APRIS coming in to where the systems are talking, so that it's a seamless transition to let the system know that, hey, this person's released or this person's incarcerated. It's happening. They are throwing some kinks in because some old data is coming in. And that's where you're seeing providers that saw someone, like they got out in June and they saw them in June, but then the MCOs are denying that because their incarceration date has changed. And that's because of still the old data coming through. And we have a process to take care of that comes up. But hopefully going forward with APRIS, that is going to change that. That is going to have those systems talk to each other. Before COVID in the reentry program, we were going to start having, before they even walked out the door, have someone have them call DCBS right then.
Yeah,
But because of COVID, we couldn't get that done, but
and the SUD incarceration waiver piece may address this as well for those folks, right?
yes. You mean the incarceration?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, definitely, because they will be, they will
Getting
be,
services before they
They'll
leave.
never be out of the system. If they.
right, correct.
Okay,
Now, I will mention, Steve, that Leanne and I have been talking to other states, and we are kind of rethinking that 30 days prior to. Other states are saying that you need more than 30 days. So we're kind of rethinking that 30 days prior to release, being connected with the MCO of your choice, all that piece. We're thinking about maybe even extending that a little bit if we can work it out with CMS.
yeah. Yeah, 30 days seems relatively short for a lot of stuff that has to get done, right? But, all right, good. Just want to understand, because people ask me all the time, and it still happens that people are,
And I appreciate you telling the providers that to contact me when that happens with their claims, and we get that process going for them.
Good. We'll do that. All right, anything else? You all can't answer this, I'm gonna ask it anyway. What's the impact of the appeal court's ruling on Anthem? So, just you haven't heard, yesterday, the appeal court ruled that Anthem is not eligible. The decision was made not to include them. And now, that was upheld in appeal court. And, and I think what's going to happen is Court of Appeals is I'm going to get calls today. And I think my answer is going to be, and I understand Medicaid can't comment, is we just don't know how that's going to play out. We just don't know what the next step is. But I'm hoping there's some transition period for those individuals. Anthem members, what's going to happen. So, but anyway, that's unrelated news. Next, I had MCO updates. Is there anything? I know Courtney, you appear to be on top of this issue, Courtney Ham from Aetna. Is there any other, you want to share any additional information, or what have you seen with people returning, or any other MCO wants to share any information?
I can share a little bit. Thank you. So we still have a reentry program that we're working with a case manager. So that person is talking to members who are getting released, and we're doing education on the ground the same way we were doing it before. Our program is called Start Strong, and that's been a really important piece. Of course, Aetna is also working on those transition age young people, but ones who may have transferred from DJJ to the Department of Corrections as adults, and trying to make sure that, if they are going to get released, we're going to follow them, make sure they have wraparound services. And we're still involved with the project that Leanne was talking about with DMS. And I think that's about all the things we're doing for incarceration. We're also trying to do as much education inside for our staff to make sure that we're all understanding the process, because they're just such giant complex systems, along with a giant complex system of healthcare. So those things are definitely on the table for us.
Okay, thank you. Any other MCO want to share anything?
Do we have anyone on from anyone other than Aetna?
Yes, this is Samantha Harrison with Humana Healthy Horizons in Kentucky. We don't have anything specifically to share at this point. We've only had 2 to 3 members in the last 3 months that have been sent to our area. So as we have more situations, we can provide more updates for y'all, understanding exactly what you're looking for. Are you wanting information on challenges that we're experiencing, or data? Just let us know the specifics that you would like for us to share.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, it's Eric Davis with United Healthcare, and Courtney brought up a good point with the DJJ to adults, and we're not really getting DJJ kids. I think they may be caught up in the Sky program with their indicators. So, and Aetna is really good about catching all the foster care members. So that's kind of where we are.
Okay. Anyone else?
This is Stephanie Stone from Passport. Mark, are you on and able to give an update? I can see that you're on. I just don't know if you're able to get off mute and give an update. I apologize. Mark Zockham was prepared to give an update today, and I can see that he's on. I see his phone number on, but he is on mute, so he might be having audio troubles. I know that our similar to Humana, our membership is very low as far as the members we're receiving that are returning from incarcerations. We don't have a whole lot of members. I think we have one active right now, and same as Humana. If you can give us specific information on what you're looking for, such as challenges and barriers, we're happy to report. We have had a case manager. She was pulled back because of high positivity, COVID positivity rates. We have, we monitor when there are red alerts. We don't allow as much community involvement with our staff unless it's an urgent high risk situation. But we do have a case manager that was going to Louisville Metro Corrections to meet with our members that are there, that are still active, just to kind of help with that transition back and meeting any needs that might arise, and working with the caseworkers there as well. So that's one update from us. But if you need anything more specific in the future, just let us know.
Okay, appreciate it.
Hi, Steve. This is David Curley from Anthem. We still have our dedicated case manager that is assigned for incarcerated and released members. We, again, like Stephanie mentioned, the volume of those members continues to be pretty low, but we do have that case manager that's at the ready.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I will say, this is Courtney again. The volume is low because of the referrals. I don't think the members that we have, I think we have a lot of overlap with incarceration is what I'm trying to say. But the reason why they're low is because of the referrals. So we get the referrals from DMS.
Okay. So folks come out, they don't go to you directly. Is that what you're saying, Courtney?
Yeah, because we don't know the out date.
Right.
So they don't come to us directly. They go to DMS, and DMS for this specific project, they're going through that process.
Okay. Anybody from WellCare on? Take that as a no. Leslie, if you're still on, when the waiver is approved, how will members be assigned to MCOs?
Steve, I better not talk about anything related to the MCOs right now, if you don't mind.
Sorry, my bad. Yes.
That's okay.
Yes. I'm assuming that's captured in the document some way, though, right?
The document was written, been drafted for a while, so
Okay.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
I better not
curious.
speak to anything specific right now.
Understand. All right. Do any members have updates? I noticed in the chat, Evan Smith sent us a link for the ruling. Is that correct, Evan? Is that what you sent us?
Yeah, that's right. That's Friday's ruling by the Court of Appeals. Anyway, there's a lot of moving parts in that decision, but as you said, it dissolved the injunction that temporarily allowed Anthem to be included as well.
All right. It's always nice to have a lawyer around. All right. Anybody else? Anyone have any updates?
September 28th, our Recovery Ready Communities Advisory Council will be meeting here at ODCP, also via Zoom link. That's an open meeting, so if anybody wants to attend either in person or by Zoom, if you'll contact Heather Wainscott at my office, we'll get you that link if you want it. At that time, the Volunteers of America Mid-States and us will be rolling out the first draft of Recovery Ready Community Guidelines. I'm sure that it will be a draft only and will be updated as time goes on. Senate Bill 90, 11 counties have been picked as a pilot project for post-arrest pre-arraignment kind of diversion program. And we're holding some working group meetings now to get that kicked off. The target goal is January 23. I'm not sure we'll meet that target for all 11 communities, but we'll try. And the Opioid Abatement Commission, of which I'm a member, it's going to hold about 8 meetings around the state from 6 to 8 local time. You can find those on the Attorney General's website. There's a tab on the left-hand side for opioid abatement, and I believe those communities are listed there. We're Pikeville, Ashland, Hazard, Covington, Lexington, Louisville, Bowling Green, and Paducah. And so if anybody has strong feelings about how opioid abatement money should be spent, this is your opportunity to let the council know your feelings on that. Funds will be distributed through a grant process that will be online to make application.
Yeah. And those funds are from the settlements, right, Van?
Yeah, they're from the settlements of Marisourceburg, Cardinal, the distributors.
Yeah. Okay.
480 million, half going directly to communities, and the other half residing with the Attorney General and the Opioid Abatement Commission.
Yeah. I got a call from our national group about the Recovery Ready community group. Just I think they were kind of surprised that Kentucky has that. Most states haven't gotten to that place yet, and I guess the objective really for that ban is to kind of have guidelines so communities can look at what.
Yeah, our hope, Steve, is communities will take a look and make inventory of what they have in the recovery space, and more importantly, what they don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, we'll be presenting to the Kentucky League of Cities, Dr. Marks and I, and later to the Association of Counties, with the plea that if you're receiving opioid abatement money, think about the things you don't have in place and spending those opioid abatement dollars to help with things like transitional housing and transportation and those type of issues that we all know are crucial to people in early recovery.
Yeah, maybe educate some employers as well, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta have a job. All right, thank you, Van. Anybody else have anything to share? Adrian Bush, what are you hearing about House Bill 7 implementation?
I have not heard a whole lot. I would defer to people who are dealing more on the consumer side of Medicaid and SNAP, because I don't want to speak out of turn.
Okay.
What are you hearing, Steve?
It's kind of remarkable. Not hearing very much at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, we talked about House Bill 7, passed this session, and there was great concerns by many advocates for folks who get public assistance now, how that's going to play out. And we just haven't heard much. It's now obviously we're in the 3rd month of the new biennium, this fiscal year, and this, I don't know. Which is okay. I'm not unhappy that we're not hearing more stuff. So.
Same here.
Yeah. Anyone else? Evan Smith.
I just dropped a link in the chat. Sorry, camera's not working. I swapped laptops. So anyway, I just dropped a link in the chat. We at Apple Red Legal Aid were recently announced for a grant from the Appalachian Regional Commission that will build on our Project Renew, which Casey, I believe, is on here and can talk much more about kind of really some of the on the ground stuff that that she's been leading up here in Floyd County, helping people in the Floyd County jail with some of their civil legal problems as they're moving towards release. And so we're going to be able to expand that into, I think it's 19 more counties was the number. Again, we cover 37 counties at Apple Red, so it's still not everywhere that ideally I would like to be able to do it. But I was glad that we were able to, get some support from ARC on this. So yeah, I just wanted to put that on your all's radars.
I have a question. This is Adrian. Does this cover it? So it covers people who are currently in the jails. Does it cover people who are out, who have like outstanding bench warrants or failure to appear?
I'll say that from my perspective, I've tried not to be restrictive about that. I mean, the primary goal here is to avoid people having any type of, reincarceration. And so I don't want to, say, oh, well, now that you're out, we can't help you, because the whole goal is to, get out and stay out here. But again, I'll be candid though, other than kind of being on the radar that this ARC opportunity existed and thinking very broadly about what we might do with it. I was very happy to let some of my coworkers be the primary ones to handle this ARC piece. So, and I was delighted to see it was awarded, but I haven't actually had the time to go into the detail and see if there's any restrictions that ARC has imposed about that, but I would not think so. And so I think that we would be able to help in the additional set of counties that we're able to do some work in through this.
Thank you.
That's your
And I'll
question.
make sure to pull everything from the chat and email it out to the group, just in case you didn't capture all those links.
Thank you. And Evan, how are y'all doing up there with the flooding? I always ask when I talk to people from East Kentucky.
I will just say that's one of the reasons I'm not as up to speed on things like this ARC grant is, all the flood related legal issues have been pretty consuming for, more than a month now. So yeah, I mean, there's still people that don't have places to sleep. So yeah, it's still really serious here. And again, we're, as we all do, we're juggling a lot of things, but thanks for keeping us in your thoughts with the flood work, because a lot of our neighbors are still really struggling.
Yeah. Thanks. Any other members have an update? I want to thank everyone for your flexibility to change the meeting date. My sister got a Airbnb in Paris, and she picked the date and invited our whole family to go with her. So we spent last week in Paris. So I opted not to do this meeting last Thursday. And
anytime you could go to Bourbon County, Steve, I don't blame you.
well, I mean, yeah, I was surprised she went to Bourbon County from New York City, but she had a great time. So it was good. We went to Omaha Beach and we saw actually where D-Day took place. So that was kind of different. And I drove a car in Paris. I don't desire to do that ever again. And I've driven in Chicago, New York. Paris it was a different world. But anyway, glad to be back home though. 5 days is my limit being away from home. Any other future agenda items? I think one thing that occurred to me during the meeting we may want to look into is, and I haven't thought of this, I'm sure you all have, is what can we do for folks that, and I think the MCOs can help with this, who are members of MCOs, are incarcerated in their local jail, right? So it's not necessarily long-term incarceration. And then so hopefully they get they get released at some point. Is there anything we can do to facilitate that process to make sure that those folks remain contact, at least, and get activated, on Medicaid as soon as possible? So maybe I'll send that request out to the MCOs and see if we can get some information about that. Does that make sense? I hadn't really thought about that jail piece because, some of those folks in local jails for, 30, 60, 90, 120 days. Does that make sense to you all?
Yeah.
All right. That is all I have. our next meeting is November 10th.
And
All
Steve,
right.
I'm currently working on the 2023 schedule for everyone, and I hope to have those dates out soon for you guys
Okay.
to look over.
Yeah, and we look like we're on the second Thursday. Normally,
Yes, I kind of stayed with that date.
that's perfect. So. And Leslie, if we can help you in any way with this, the SUD waiver, let us know. You know, if we can do anything to assist that process. Or Leanne, pass that on.
Sure, I'm still on and I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah, I was gonna mention too, and I'm blanking out on the name, the lady that came and spoke on this TAC related to employment. Leanne and I actually reached out to her and met with them to talk about their services, which was very exciting for us. So, and I learned about them through this TAC, so I appreciate that.
Good deal. All right, nothing else. We are adjourned. See y'all. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.